Pain is not the end, it is the beginning. The pain did not come to destroy you. It came to show you the version of yourself that can no longer survive. The version that kept begging for respect. The version that stayed too long. The version that ignored the signs, lowered the standards, and called it love, loyalty, patience, or hope. And maybe that is why this moment feels so heavy. Because deep down, you are not only grieving what happened, you are grieving the version of yourself who allowed it. The version who believed one more chance would fix everything. The version who kept explaining, forgiving, waiting, shrinking, and hoping that one day people would finally see your value. But listen carefully. Pain does not automatically make you stronger. Some people go through pain and become bitter. Some become cold. Some spend years repeating the same story, carrying the same wound, and calling it their identity. Break time bung 0.5s. They survive what happened, but they never study it. They never ask what it revealed. They never ask what it exposed. They only replay the moment that broke them until the wound becomes a prison. But there is another way. There are people who take pain and turn it into clarity. They take rejection and turn it into direction. They take betrayal and turn it into boundaries. They take failure and turn it into discipline. They take heartbreak and turn it into self-respect. They do not pretend the pain never happened. They do not hide from it. They do not bury it under fake positivity. They look at it directly and ask, "What did this come to teach me?" That is where power begins. Not in pretending you are fine. Not in acting unbothered. Not in proving to everyone that nothing hurt you. Real power begins when you can face what happened without letting it define who you become next. This audiobook is not here to tell you to forget your pain. It is here to help you use it. Because pain is not your identity. Pain is information. It tells you what needs to change. Break time bung 0.5s. It tells you what needs to end. It tells you where your boundaries were weak, where your standards were too low, where your attention was misplaced, and where your future self is asking you to grow. For the next 90 minutes, we are going to walk through that transformation together. You will learn how to stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" You will learn why some pain does not come to end your life, but to end the version of you that could no longer carry your future. You will learn how to turn emotional chaos into inner discipline, how to use rejection as redirection, how to build strength in the exact place where you once felt weak. And stay with this, because the deeper we go, the more personal this becomes. There is a chapter where we will talk about anger, not as something shameful, but as energy that can become a new standard. Break time bung 0.5s. There is another chapter where we will talk about the danger of bleeding on people who did not cut you. And near the end, we will talk about becoming someone your pain can no longer recognize. That is the real goal. Not to erase the past, not to become hard, cold, or unreachable, not to spend the rest of your life proving that you were hurt. The goal is to become so grounded, so clear, so disciplined, and so deeply connected to yourself that the thing that once controlled you no longer knows how to reach you. Maybe you are listening to this while you are tired. Maybe you are driving home from work, sitting alone in your room, lying awake at night, or trying to hold your life together while no one knows how much you are carrying. If that is you, stay. Not because one video will magically fix everything, but because one sentence, one decision, one shift in how you see your pain can become the beginning of a different life. Break time bung 0.5s. So let this be your first quiet commitment. You will not waste your pain. You will not let it turn you into someone you were never meant to become. You will not let the people who hurt you keep living inside your mind for free. You will not keep replaying the wound while abandoning the lesson. From this point forward, you are not just surviving what happened. You are learning from it. You are training through it. You are rising because of it. Pain was never meant to be the final chapter of your story. It was the fire. But you are not the ashes. You are the one who learns how to rise. So take a breath. Let the noise settle, and let us begin. Break time bung 0.5s. Chapter 1. Stop asking why it happened. Start asking what it is teaching you. Chapter 1. Stop asking why it happened. Start asking what it is teaching you. When something painful happens, the mind reaches for one question first. Why? Why did they leave? Why did they lie? Why did I lose that opportunity? Why did I give so much and receive so little? Why did life choose this moment to test me when I was already tired? That question is human. It is natural. When something hurts, you want an explanation, you want closure. You want the missing sentence that finally makes the pain make sense. You may keep checking your phone for an apology that never comes. You may stare at a rejection email and read the same line 5 times. You may sit in your car after work, hands on the steering wheel, trying to look normal while something inside you feels broken. And in those moments, why feels like the only question that matters. Break time bung 0.5s. But here is the hard truth. Not every painful moment gives you an answer. Some people will never explain why they treated you that way. Some doors will close without giving you a reason. Some losses will arrive without warning. Some chapters will end before you feel ready. And if you keep waiting for life to explain itself before you move forward, you may spend years standing in the same emotional place. This is where many people lose power. Not because they are weak, but because they keep asking a question that traps them inside the wound. Why did this happen to me? Can become a prison if you live there too long. It keeps your eyes on the event. It keeps your energy locked in the past. It keeps your identity attached to what happened. And slowly, without noticing it, you stop becoming a person who is healing and start becoming a person who is waiting. Waiting for an apology. Waiting for understanding. Waiting for someone to admit they were wrong. Waiting for the world to give you a reason before you give yourself permission to rise. Break time bung 0.5s. But power begins when the question changes. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? That one shift can change the direction of your life. Why me? Keeps you facing the wound. What is this teaching me? Turns you toward wisdom. Why me? Searches for blame. What is this teaching me? Searches for strength. Why me? Keeps you in the story of what was done to you. What is this teaching me? Reminds you that you still have control over what you build next. Now pause for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, what has your pain been trying to show you that you keep refusing to see? Not what did they do, not who should apologize, not why was it unfair. What did this reveal? Maybe the betrayal revealed that your boundaries were too easy to cross. Maybe the rejection revealed that you had placed too much of your value in someone else's decision. Maybe the failure revealed that talent alone was not enough and structure was missing. Maybe the disappointment revealed that you ignored small signs because you wanted the bigger dream to be true. Maybe the exhaustion revealed that you were calling survival strength when your mind was begging for rest, order, and self-respect. Break time bung 0.5s. Every wound carries information. Betrayal teaches boundaries. Rejection teaches direction. Failure teaches structure. Exhaustion teaches limits. Disappointment teaches discernment. But you can only receive the lesson when you stop arguing with the pain and start listening to what it exposed. And this is the part most people avoid. Sometimes the lesson is not only about what they did. Sometimes the lesson is about what you kept allowing after you already knew the truth. That does not mean you blame yourself for being hurt. It does not mean you excuse what someone else did. It does not mean the pain was your fault. It means you are strong enough to study the pattern without attacking yourself. Self-reflection is not self-punishment. Self-reflection is how you take your power back. Because if you never study the pattern, you may repeat it with a different person, in a different city, under a different name, and still call it bad luck. Break time bung 0.5s. You may keep choosing the same type of relationship. You may keep making the same financial mistake. You may keep reacting the same way under pressure. You may keep quitting at the same stage of difficulty. And if the pattern keeps returning, life is not just hurting you. It is trying to teach you something you have not mastered yet. So here is the purpose of this chapter. This chapter is not here to make you feel guilty. It is here to help you turn confusion into clarity. Because pain without clarity becomes weight. Pain with clarity becomes instruction. And instruction can guide you. Instruction can protect you. Instruction can train you. Instruction can become the first step toward power. So take one painful experience you are still carrying. Choose the one that still has weight. The one your mind returns to when the room gets quiet. The one that changed how you trust, how you love, how you work, or how you see yourself. Break time bung 0.5s. Now complete these 3 sentences. First, this pain revealed that I need to stop tolerating. Maybe you need to stop tolerating disrespect disguised as honesty. Maybe inconsistency from people who only appear when they need something. Maybe your own excuses. Maybe your own delay. Maybe your habit of choosing comfort over growth. Second, this pain taught me that I need to start protecting. Maybe your peace. Maybe your time. Maybe your focus. Maybe your body. Maybe your money. Maybe your standards. Maybe your ability to love without losing yourself. Third, this pain is asking me to become. This is the most important one. Because pain is not only asking you to understand what happened, it is asking you to become someone who cannot be shaped by the same weakness again. Maybe it is asking you to become more disciplined, more honest, more selective, more grounded, more patient, more independent, more committed to your future. If one of those sentences speaks to you, do not ignore it. That feeling is not random. That is awareness rising. And if you are listening right now, use this moment. Do not only hear the words, answer them. Break time bung 0.5s. What do you need to stop tolerating? What do you need to start protecting? Who is this pain asking you to become? Say the answer in your mind. Write it down later if you can. Make it clear enough that your next action has direction. Because once you name the lesson, you stop carrying pain as confusion. You begin carrying it as instruction. That is how the mind begins to change. That is how the victim story begins to lose power. That is how the same experience that once made you feel powerless becomes the beginning of your clarity. Do not waste your pain by only suffering from it. Study it. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen you. Let it show you what must never be repeated. The moment you stop asking life to explain every wound and start asking what the wound is training you to see, you take back the first piece of your power. Break time bung 0.5s. And in the next chapter, we go deeper. Because sometimes pain is not only teaching you a lesson, sometimes it is showing you the version of yourself that can no longer continue. Chapter 2. Let pain expose the version of you that can no longer survive. The most painful part of losing something is not always the loss. Sometimes it is realizing who you became while trying to keep it. That is the part no one talks about. The relationship may have ended. The opportunity may have disappeared. The plan may have collapsed. The person may have changed. The door may have closed. But when the noise settles, the deeper question begins to rise. Who did I become while trying to survive this? Did I become smaller? Did I become quieter? Did I become someone who waited too long, explained too much, accepted too little, and called it patience? Pain has a way of revealing what comfort hides. Before the pain, you may have told yourself you were fine, you were just loyal, just forgiving, just giving people time, just trying to keep peace, just hoping things would become better if you held on a little longer. Break time bung 0.5s. But pain removes the illusion. It turns on the light in rooms you kept avoiding. It shows you the cracks in the life you were trying to hold together with silence, excuses, overthinking, and hope. And that is one of the hardest truths to face. Pain does not only show you what hurt you, it shows you what inside you was no longer strong enough to continue. Approval made you smaller. Fear made you silent. Comfort made you delay. Attachment made you stay. Hope made you ignore evidence. And suddenly, the question is no longer only, why did this happen? The question becomes, what version of me allowed this to continue for so long? That question can hurt. It can feel like sitting in your car outside your apartment after a long day, with the engine off, staring through the windshield because you do not have the energy to go inside yet. It can feel like looking at your calendar and realizing your life is full but your spirit is empty. Break time bung 0.5s. It can feel like checking a message thread you already know will disappoint you, and still hoping this time it will be different. It can feel like looking in the mirror and recognizing your face, but not recognizing your energy. But listen closely. That realization is not the end of you. It is the beginning of honesty. And honesty is where transformation starts. A false version of you can survive for a while. It can survive on approval. It can survive on pretending. It can survive on being needed by everyone else. It can survive on staying busy enough to avoid the truth. But it cannot carry your future. The future you want requires a different version of you. A version with clearer boundaries. A version with stronger discipline. A version that does not confuse being chosen with being valuable. A version that does not confuse attachment with love. A version that does not shrink to fit into rooms that were never built for your growth. Break time bung 0.5s. This is where pain becomes a mirror, not a punishment. A mirror. It shows you the part of yourself that is outdated. The part that learned how to survive, but never learned how to lead. The part that adapted to disappointment, but never demanded better. The part that became familiar with chaos and started calling it normal. And if you are honest, you may already know which version of you this chapter is talking about. So pause here. Ask yourself, which version of me has been running my life? The wounded version? The people-pleasing version? The fearful version? The version that keeps waiting? The version that keeps proving? The version that keeps accepting less, then wondering why life feels heavy? This is not a question to shame you. It is a question to wake you. Because you cannot build a powerful life with a powerless identity. You cannot keep thinking like the person who was hurt and expect to live like the person who has healed. Break time bung 0.5s. You cannot keep using old survival habits and expect new freedom. That is the hard truth. Some versions of you were necessary for a season, but they are not allowed to become your whole life. The version that stayed quiet may have kept you safe in the past, but now it is keeping you invisible. The version that pleased everyone may have helped you avoid conflict, but now it is costing you self-respect. The version that stayed busy may have helped you avoid feeling the pain, but now it is blocking you from healing it. The version that trusted too quickly may have come from a good heart, but now it needs wisdom, not just hope. Growth does not always feel like becoming more. Sometimes growth feels like letting an old self fall away. The self that begged, the self that chased, the self that over-explained, the self that made excuses for people who kept showing you the truth, the self that thought love meant losing yourself, the self that believed suffering in silence was strength. Break time bung 0.5s. Let that version go. Not with hatred, not with regret, not with shame. Let it go with understanding. That version of you was trying to survive with the tools it had. It did not know everything you know now. It did not see what you see now. It did not have the same clarity, the same awareness, the same standards you are beginning to build. So do not curse the old version of yourself. Thank it for carrying you this far. Then stop letting it lead. Because the person who helped you survive the pain may not be the same person who can help you rise from it. Survival and growth are not the same identity. Survival says, just get through today. Growth says, build who you must become. Survival says, avoid the pain. Growth says, use the pain. Survival says, keep the peace. Growth says, protect your peace. And at some point, you have to choose which voice you will follow. So here is the exercise for this chapter. Complete this sentence. The version of me that can no longer continue is the one who, be honest, the one who keeps waiting for closure, the one who keeps accepting inconsistency. Break time bung 0.5s. The one who avoids discipline. The one who disappears when life gets hard. The one who gives everyone access but gives myself no protection. The one who keeps choosing people, habits, thoughts, and places that make me feel smaller. Now complete the second sentence. The version of me I am becoming is the one who tells the truth sooner. The one who protects peace without apology. The one who chooses discipline over emotional impulse. The one who stops confusing loneliness with failure. The one who builds slowly, quietly, and consistently. The one who does not abandon themselves to be accepted. If one of those lines hits something inside you, stay with it. That is not weakness, that is recognition. And recognition is powerful. Because the moment you can name the old version, you stop being unconsciously controlled by it. You begin to notice when you are about to shrink. You begin to notice when you are about to chase. You begin to notice when you are about to say yes, while your body is saying no. Break time, bung 0.5s. That moment of noticing is the doorway. Noticing gives you space. Space gives you choice. Choice gives you power. This is how a new identity begins. Not with a dramatic announcement. Not with a perfect morning routine. Not with everyone understanding your transformation. It begins quietly, with one decision you do not betray, one boundary you finally keep, one habit you return to, one old reaction you refuse to repeat, one moment where the old version of you reaches for the wheel, and the new version calmly says, "Not anymore." That is how pain exposes what can no longer survive, and that is how you begin to build what can. Do not be afraid when an old version of you starts falling away. Sometimes what feels like losing yourself is actually the first moment you stop performing as someone you have outgrown. Let the weaker identity end. Let the false peace end. Let the need for approval end. Let the habit of abandoning yourself end. You are not here to keep every version of yourself alive. You are here to become the version strong enough to carry your future. Break time, bung 0.5s. And in the next chapter, we take the next step. Because once pain exposes the old self, the next challenge is learning how to control the emotional storm that rises when that old self begins to disappear. Chapter 3. Turn emotional chaos into discipline. There is a moment after pain when your emotions become loud. Not honest. Loud. One thought becomes 10. One memory becomes a storm. One message you did not receive becomes a story your mind writes for you. One rejection becomes proof that you are not enough. One betrayal becomes a reason to never trust again. And if you are not careful, the pain does not only hurt you once, it keeps using your own mind to hurt you again and again. That is emotional chaos. It is not just sadness. It is not just anger. It is not just fear. It is the moment your emotions begin driving your decisions before your wisdom has a chance to speak. You know this feeling. You are lying awake at 2:17 in the morning, replaying a conversation you cannot change. You are reading a message over and over, looking for a hidden meaning. You are sitting at your desk, trying to work, but your mind keeps pulling you back to what happened. Break time, bung 0.5s. You are about to send a long paragraph you know you should not send. And sometimes you send it, then morning comes, the anger is gone. But the message is still there, the words are still there. The damage is still there. That is the cost of letting a temporary storm make a permanent decision. So hear this clearly. The emotion may be justified, but the reaction can still destroy what you are trying to rebuild. You can be right about the pain and still wrong in the way you respond to it. You can have every reason to feel angry and still lose power by acting from anger. You can be deeply hurt and still be responsible for what you do with that hurt. This is where most people lose control. They do not lose control because they feel too much. They lose control because they obey every feeling too quickly. They react, they text, they accuse. Break time, bung 0.5s. They explain, they chase, they disappear, they distract themselves. They make permanent decisions from temporary emotional storms, and later, when the emotion fades, they are left with consequences their calmer self never would have chosen. Your emotions are real, but they are not always wise. They are signals, not commands. Anger may signal that a boundary was crossed. Sadness may signal that something mattered. Fear may signal that your nervous system is trying to protect you. Jealousy may signal insecurity, comparison, or a need for deeper self-trust. Shame may signal that a wound has touched your identity. But a signal is not a steering wheel. You can feel the signal without letting it drive your life. That is the beginning of inner discipline. Inner discipline is not emotional numbness. It is not pretending nothing hurts. It is not becoming cold, silent, or unreachable. Inner discipline is the ability to feel the storm and still choose your next action with clarity. That is power. Not the power to never feel. The power to not be ruled by what you feel. Break time, bung 0.5s. So here is the practice for this chapter. The next time your emotions rise, do not rush to fix them. Do not rush to explain them. Do not rush to obey them. Pause, name, separate, choose. 4 steps, simple but not easy. First, pause. Pause before you send the message. Pause before you answer with anger. Pause before you make a decision because you feel abandoned. Pause before you return to an old habit because the pain feels too heavy. A pause is not weakness. A pause is the hand you place on the door before walking into a room you may regret entering. Even 3 seconds can create space between the old version of you and the person you are becoming. Second, name it. Do not say, "I am losing my mind." Say, "I feel anger." Do not say, "I am broken." Say, "I feel grief." Do not say, "Nobody cares about me." Say, "I feel rejected." Do not say, "Everything is falling apart." Say, "I feel overwhelmed." Naming the emotion reduces its control, because what remains vague feels infinite. What you name becomes something you can face. This is where many people get stuck. They do not name the feeling break time bung 0.5s. They become the feeling. They do not say, "I feel abandoned." They say, "I am alone." They do not say, "I feel afraid." They say, "I cannot handle this." But language shapes identity, and identity shapes action. So be precise, not dramatic, precise. Third, separate. This is where you create the most important sentence in emotional discipline. I feel this, but I am not this. I feel anger, but I am not anger. I feel fear, but I am not fear. I feel rejection, but I am not rejection. I feel shame, but I am not shame. I feel the urge to react, but I do not have to obey it. Say it slowly if you need to, because the mind needs to remember that a feeling can pass through you without becoming the leader of you. You are the sky, break time, bung 0.5s. The emotion is weather. The storm may be real, but it is not your whole existence. And if you can hold that truth for even 1 minute, you begin to reclaim your center. Fourth, choose. Only after you pause, name, and separate should you ask, what action would my stronger self take right now? Not my wounded self, not my pride, not my fear, not the part of me that wants to prove something, my stronger self. Would my stronger self send this message? Would my stronger self reopen this door? Would my stronger self ignore my body's need for rest? Would my stronger self break a promise to myself just because today hurts? Would my stronger self seek revenge or build standards? That question changes your behavior, because it moves you from impulse to identity. And that is the point. You are not trying to win one emotional moment. You are training the kind of mind that can be trusted under pressure. Every time you pause instead of explode, you train it. Every time you name the feeling instead of becoming it, you train it. Every time you separate your identity from your emotion, you train it. Every time you choose from clarity instead of chaos, you train it. Break time bung 0.5s. This is how emotional chaos becomes inner discipline. Not all at once, not perfectly, but repeatedly. And repetition is what turns a practice into a personality. Now, if you are listening to this, think of one emotional pattern you keep repeating. Do you over-explain when you feel misunderstood? Do you chase when you feel abandoned? Do you shut down when you feel overwhelmed? Do you distract yourself when you feel lonely? Do you attack when you feel disrespected? Do you abandon your routine when you feel sad? Choose one, just one, because the goal is not to fix your entire emotional life in one night. The goal is to identify the reaction that keeps costing you peace. Once you name that pattern, write this sentence in your mind. When I feel, I usually, but from now on, I will pause, name, separate, and choose. Break time bung 0.5s. For example, when I feel rejected, I usually chase. But from now on, I will pause, name, separate, and choose. When I feel angry, I usually attack. But from now on, I will pause, name, separate, and choose. When I feel overwhelmed, I usually disappear. But from now on, I will pause, name, separate, and choose. This is not just a sentence, it is a training command. It gives your mind a new path before the old reaction takes over. Because pain will test you, people will still disappoint you, life will still pressure you, memories will still rise at the wrong time, but the goal is not to live without storms. The goal is to stop letting every storm become your identity. Feel it, name it, hold it, lead it. Do not let one emotional wave decide the direction of your entire life. Break time bung 0.5s. You are allowed to feel deeply, but you must learn to choose wisely. That is inner discipline. That is self-respect. That is how pain stops controlling your behavior and starts becoming the place where your strength is trained. And in the next chapter, we will take that discipline into one of the most painful experiences of all: rejection. Because when rejection is not understood correctly, it becomes proof that you are not enough. But when you learn how to read it differently, rejection becomes redirection. Chapter 4. Use rejection as redirection, not proof that you are worthless. Rejection has a way of touching the deepest parts of you, not because one person said no, not because one door closed, not because one opportunity disappeared, but because rejection does something dangerous if you are not careful. It does not only make you question what happened, it makes you question who you are. A message left unanswered becomes, "I am not important." A job rejection becomes, "I am not good enough." A relationship ending becomes, "I am hard to love." A group excluding you becomes, "I do not belong anywhere." And suddenly rejection is no longer an event, it becomes an identity. That is where the damage begins. Because rejection is painful, but the story you build around rejection can become even more painful than the rejection itself. Break time bung 0.5s. You may sit at your kitchen table, staring at an email that begins with, "Thank you for your interest," already knowing what comes next. You may watch someone choose another person and feel your chest tighten before your mind even has time to speak. You may see people moving on without you, laughing without you, planning without you, and suddenly your mind starts collecting evidence against your own worth. That is the danger. Rejection gives your wounded mind material to build a false identity. But rejection is not always proof that something is wrong with you. Sometimes it is proof that something is not aligned with you. Sometimes the door closed because it was not built for the person you are becoming. Sometimes the person left because they could only love the version of you who abandoned yourself. Sometimes the opportunity disappeared because it required you to stay smaller than your future could allow. Break time bung 0.5s. Sometimes the silence protected you from a conversation that would have pulled you back into confusion. You may not see that immediately. Most people do not. In the moment, rejection feels personal. It feels final. It feels like the world has looked at you and decided you were not enough. But that feeling is not always the truth. It is a wound speaking before wisdom has arrived. And if you let the wound interpret the rejection, it will always translate it as shame. So this chapter is about learning a new translation. Not "I was rejected, so I am worthless," but "I was redirected, so I need to pay attention." That shift matters, because rejection can become a wall, or it can become a sign. A wall says, "Stop, this is the end of you." A sign says, "Look again, there is another direction." A wall traps you in pain. A sign gives your pain movement, and often, what looks like rejection in the beginning becomes protection when you finally have enough distance to understand it. Break time bung 0.5s. Think about something you once wanted badly, a person you wanted to stay, a job you thought you needed, a plan you believed would make everything better, a version of life you begged for. Now be honest, is there something you once cried over that you now realize would have cost you your peace? Is there a person you once missed who would have kept you emotionally unstable? Is there an opportunity you once lost that would have forced you to betray your values? Is there a door you once begged to open that you are now grateful stayed closed? That is not random. That is hindsight turning rejection into revelation. But you do not have to wait years to learn from rejection. You can train your mind to read it differently now. The first question is, Beist break time bung 0.5s. What did this rejection protect me from? Do not answer too quickly. Sit with it. Maybe it protected you from a relationship where you would have kept proving your worth. Maybe it protected you from a workplace that would have used your talent but drained your spirit. Maybe it protected you from a friendship that only worked when you had no boundaries. Maybe it protected you from a path that looked successful on the outside but would have made you empty on the inside. The second question is, what did this rejection force me to finally see? Maybe it forced you to see that you were chasing validation more than connection. Maybe it forced you to see that your confidence was still dependent on being chosen. Maybe it forced you to see that you had attached your identity to one outcome. Maybe it forced you to see that you were willing to lower your standards just to avoid feeling alone. Break time bung 0.5s. This is not comfortable. But clarity rarely feels comfortable at first. Sometimes clarity feels like disappointment before it feels like freedom. The third question is, what standard must I build now? This is where rejection becomes power, not because you deny the pain, but because you turn the pain into a new standard. If you were rejected by someone who only valued you when you were convenient, your new standard may be, I will no longer confuse attention with commitment. If you were rejected by a job, your new standard may be, I will build skills so strong that one closed door cannot define my future. If you were rejected by a group, your new standard may be, I will stop shrinking to belong where I am not respected. If you were rejected by a dream, your new standard may be, I will rebuild the dream with more wisdom, more structure, and more patience. Break time bung 0.5. That is how rejection becomes redirection. It points you back to the part of yourself you abandoned while trying to be accepted. Because often, rejection hurts most when you were already rejecting yourself. You ignored your discomfort. You silenced your needs. You compromised your values. You accepted less than what your peace required. And then when the outside world rejected you, it only confirmed the rejection you had already been practicing inside. So do not only ask, why did they not choose me? Ask, where did I stop choosing myself? That question can change you. Where did you stop choosing your standards? Where did you stop choosing your peace? Where did you stop choosing your direction? Where did you stop choosing the life you knew you were supposed to build? Because the real danger of rejection is not that someone else did not choose you. The real danger is that you may stop choosing yourself afterward. Do not let that happen. Do not let one closed door make you abandon your entire future. Do not let one person's inability to see your value become your own blindness. Break time bung 0.5s. Do not let one opportunity disappearing convince you that your ability has disappeared with it. Rejection is information, not identity. It may tell you that something was not aligned. It may tell you that you need more skill. It may tell you that your timing was not right. It may tell you that your standards were unclear. It may tell you that you were chasing a door because you were afraid to build your own. But it does not get to tell you that you are worthless. That decision is not in its hands. So if you are carrying rejection right now, use this moment. Name the rejection. Name the story you built around it. Then separate the two. The event may be, the story may be, I am not lovable. The event may be, I did not get the job. The story may be, I will never succeed. The event may be, they did not include me. The story may be, I do not matter. Break time bung 0.5s. Now challenge the story. Is it true? Or is it pain trying to become a belief? This is where freedom begins. Because once you separate the event from the meaning, you stop letting rejection write your identity. You take the pen back. You decide what this rejection will become. A lesson, a boundary, a redirection, a reason to train harder, a reason to stop chasing rooms that require you to shrink, a reason to build a life where your worth does not depend on being selected by people who do not even know how to value you. That is strength. Not pretending rejection does not hurt. It hurts. But you do not have to let it become your name. You do not have to let it become your ceiling. You do not have to let it become the voice you hear every time you try again. Let rejection hurt, then let it teach, then let it point, then move. Because every rejection asks you a question. Will you use this as proof that you are not enough? Or will you use it as direction toward the place where you no longer have to betray yourself to belong? Choose the second. Choose redirection. Choose your standards. Choose yourself again. Rejection is not always a wall. Sometimes it is a sign pointing you back to yourself. Break time bung 0.5s. And in the next chapter, we will take what rejection exposed and do something even stronger with it. We will build strength in the exact place where you once felt weak. Chapter 5. Build strength in the place where you once felt weak. Most people try to hide the place that hurt them. They avoid it. They cover it. They pretend it does not matter. They build a life around not touching that wound again. But the place that hurt you is often the place where your next strength must be built. Not because you should live inside pain. Not because you should keep reopening the wound. Not because suffering is something to worship. But because weakness does not disappear when you avoid it. It waits. It waits in the next relationship. It waits in the next challenge. It waits in the next silence after someone does not reply. It waits in the next interview, the next argument, the next lonely night, the next moment where life asks you again, have you trained this part of yourself yet? Break time bung 0.5s. If you were hurt by betrayal, you may need to build discernment. If you were hurt by rejection, you may need to build self-worth. If you were hurt by failure, you may need to build structure. If you were hurt by chaos, you may need to build emotional discipline. If you were hurt by being overlooked, you may need to build confidence that does not depend on applause. Pain shows you where you are untrained. That is not an insult, that is direction. A weak place is not a shameful place. It is a training ground. Think about a person walking into a gym after years of avoiding their body. The first lift feels heavy, the muscles shake, the movement feels awkward. Nothing looks impressive yet. But the shaking does not mean failure. The shaking means the body has found the place that needs to be strengthened. Your inner life works the same way. Break time bung 0.5s. Saying no feels painful. Boundaries are your training ground. If being alone feels unbearable, solitude is your training ground. If criticism destroys your mood, self-trust is your training ground. If uncertainty makes you desperate for control, patience is your training ground. If disappointment makes you quit, resilience is your training ground. Do not hide from the place that hurt you. Train there, but train wisely. There is a difference between healing and exposing yourself to the same damage again. Training does not mean returning to the person who broke you. Training does not mean proving your strength by walking back into the fire. Training does not mean answering the same message, reopening the same door, or giving access to the same person just to see if you are stronger now. That is not strength. That is repetition. Training means developing the skill that the pain revealed you were missing. If someone crossed your boundaries, training means learning to say no before resentment builds. If someone made you feel unworthy, training means building a daily relationship with yourself that no outside opinion can easily destroy. Break time bung 0.5s. If failure embarrassed you, training means building a system that makes your effort more consistent than your mood. If fear kept you silent, training means telling the truth in small ways before the truth becomes too expensive to avoid. This is how strength is built, not in dramatic moments, not in one big speech, not in one emotional decision at midnight, but in repeated proof. A calmer response, a boundary kept, a promise completed, a habit repeated, a conversation faced, a distraction refused, a standard honored. Strength is not vague. Strength has behavior. Strength has proof. Strength has a schedule. If you say you are becoming stronger, your life should begin to show evidence. Not perfect evidence, consistent evidence. Maybe the evidence is waking up and not checking their profile. Maybe the evidence is going to the gym even when your mood is heavy. Maybe the evidence is opening your laptop and learning the skill you avoided for months. Maybe the evidence is cleaning your room because your environment has been reflecting your inner disorder. Break time bung 0.5s. Maybe the evidence is not replying to something that only pulls you back into confusion. These small acts matter, because strength is not built by waiting for pain to disappear. Strength is built while pain is still trying to negotiate with you. So here is your map. Pain exposed my weakness in the skill I must build is. The daily action that proves I am changing is. Do not make this complicated. If pain exposed weakness in your boundaries, the skill is direct communication. The daily action may be saying one honest sentence without over-explaining. If pain exposed weakness in your discipline, the skill is consistency. The daily action may be completing one important task before escaping into distraction. If pain exposed weakness in your self-worth, the skill is self-respect. The daily action may be refusing to chase people who only give you confusion. If pain exposed weakness in your emotional control, the skill is pausing. Break time bung 0.5s. The daily action may be taking 10 breaths before responding. If pain exposed weakness in your courage, the skill is action. The daily action may be doing one thing you have been avoiding. This is where many people fail. They want the identity of strength without the discipline of strength. They want to feel powerful without practicing power. They want to say, "I am healed," while still repeating the same reaction, chasing the same confusion, avoiding the same work, and betraying the same standard. But pain does not become power through language. Pain becomes power through training. So ask yourself right now, where did pain reveal that I am untrained? Not broken, untrained. There is a difference. Broken sounds final. Untrained sounds possible. And you need to hear that. You are not finished because one part of you is weak. You are being invited to train that part until it becomes trustworthy. Break time, bung 0.5s. Maybe your trust was untrained. Maybe your discipline was untrained. Maybe your patience was untrained. Maybe your voice was untrained. Maybe your ability to leave was untrained. Maybe your ability to stay committed to yourself was untrained. Good. Now you know where to begin. There is power in knowing where the work is. Most people spend years running from their weak spots. The wise person studies them. The disciplined person trains them. The powerful person transforms them. So do not ask pain only to leave. Ask it what it revealed. Then build there. Build slowly. Build privately. Build without needing everyone to understand why this matters to you. Because one day, the same place that once made you feel helpless will become the place where your strength is most visible. The person who used to fear rejection learns to stand alone. The person who used to avoid discipline learns to keep promises. The person who used to collapse under pressure learns to breathe, pause, and choose. The person who used to accept less learns to walk away calmly. That is transformation, not pain disappearing. Power appearing where pain used to live. Break time, bung 0.5s. So take the wound and ask, what skill belongs here? What strength must be built here? What standard must be protected here? Then begin. Do not wait until you feel ready. Training begins before confidence arrives. Confidence is often the result of training, not the requirement for it. Do not hide from the place that hurt you. Do not worship it. Do not keep bleeding from it. Train there. Let the weak place become the proof that you are no longer the person pain first found. And stay with this, because the next chapter is where many people accidentally destroy their own healing. They build strength, but then they project old wounds onto new people. They start protecting themselves but confuse protection with fear. So in the next chapter, we will learn how to stop bleeding on people who did not cut you. Break time, bung 0.5s. Chapter 6. Stop bleeding on people did not cut you. Pain changes the way you see people. After betrayal, kindness can look suspicious. After rejection, distance can feel like abandonment. After disappointment, silence can feel like danger. After being used, generosity can feel like a trap. And if you are not careful, you begin to treat new people like they are guilty of old wounds. That is one of the quietest ways pain controls your future. It makes you punish people who were not there when it happened. Someone speaks gently, and you wonder what they want. Someone gives you space, and you assume they are leaving. Someone makes one mistake, and your mind pulls out every memory of everyone who ever disappointed you. Someone tries to love you, but you keep handing them a test they never agreed to take. This is what happens when pain is unprocessed. It starts looking for familiar danger everywhere. It turns protection into suspicion. It turns boundaries into walls. It turns self-respect into isolation. And slowly you convince yourself that you are being careful, when really you are being controlled by the past. Hear this clearly. Not everyone is the person who hurt you. Not every silence is rejection. Not every mistake is betrayal. Not every delayed reply is abandonment. Not every disagreement means you are unsafe. Break time, bung 0.5s. A healed mind learns to tell the difference between a pattern and a trigger. A pattern is repeated behavior in the present. A trigger is an old wound reacting to something that resembles the past. If someone keeps lying, disrespecting, disappearing, and crossing boundaries, that is a pattern. Pay attention. But if someone is simply human, busy, tired, imperfect, or different from what your fear expected, be careful not to turn them into a villain your past created. This is where maturity begins. You have to ask, am I responding to what is happening now, or am I responding to what happened then? That question can save relationships. It can save opportunities. It can save your peace. Because sometimes your strongest reaction is not proof that something is wrong in front of you. Sometimes it is proof that something behind you still needs healing. Think of a person walking into a clean room while carrying mud on their shoes. The room is not dirty, but everything they touch becomes marked by what they carried in. Pain works like that. Break time bung 0.5s. If you do not clean what you carry, you will leave marks on people who never created the mess. That does not make you a bad person. It makes you responsible. There is a difference. You are not guilty for being hurt, but you are responsible for what your hurt does next. You are responsible for noticing when you are projecting. You are responsible for pausing before accusing. You are responsible for asking whether the fear is based on evidence or memory. You are responsible for not turning every new connection into a courtroom where someone must defend themselves against crimes they never committed. This is not easy, especially when you have been hurt deeply. Your nervous system may want certainty. Your pride may want control. Your fear may want proof. Your wounded self may say, do not trust anyone. Stay guarded. Stay cold. Leave first. Attack first. Expect the worst. But that voice is not wisdom. It is pain wearing armor, and armor can protect you in battle. But if you wear it forever, you will never know what peace feels like. You may be sitting across from someone who is actually trying. You may be hearing a sincere apology, but your old wound only hears danger. You may be receiving consistency, but your fear keeps searching for the first sign of betrayal. Break time bung 0.5s. You may be offered something calm, but because chaos is familiar, peace feels suspicious. That is how the past steals the present, not by returning as the same person, but by changing how you read every new moment. So ask yourself, who am I punishing for someone else's mistake? What opportunity am I rejecting because of an old wound? Where am I confusing protection with fear? Where am I calling myself guarded when really I am terrified? Where am I demanding perfect safety before I allow any connection? These questions matter. Because healing does not mean becoming naive. It means becoming accurate. You do not ignore red flags. You stop inventing them. You do not abandon boundaries. You stop building walls so high that even good things cannot reach you. You do not trust everyone. You learn to trust your ability to observe, choose, and leave when necessary. That is real protection. Real protection is not fear. Real protection is clarity. Fear says everyone will hurt me. Clarity says I can observe people carefully. Fear says I must control everything. Clarity says I can choose my response. Fear says never open again. Break time bung 0.5s. Clarity says, open slowly with standards. Fear says, if I feel afraid, it must be danger. Clarity says, I can feel afraid and still investigate the truth. That is emotional maturity, and it is one of the greatest signs that pain is becoming power. When you can stop making the present pay for the past, you are becoming free. So here is the practice for this chapter. Think of one area where your old pain still influences your present behavior. Relationships, friendships, work, family. Trust, money, success. Now complete this sentence. When I feel triggered, I usually. Do you withdraw? Do you test people? Do you assume the worst? Do you become cold? Do you over-explain? Do you push people away before they can disappoint you? Now complete the second sentence. The evidence in the present is. This is important. Do not answer with fear. Answer with facts. What did they actually do? What did they actually say? What has actually happened? Then complete the third sentence. The wiser response is. Maybe the wiser response is to ask a clear question. Maybe it is to wait before reacting. Maybe it is to express a boundary without accusation. Maybe it is to walk away because the pattern is real. Break time bung 0.5s. Maybe it is to stay because the fear is old. The goal is not to always stay. The goal is not to always leave. The goal is to stop letting the past decide before the present has been honestly seen. That is how you stop bleeding on people who did not cut you. You slow down, you check the facts, you separate memory from evidence. You protect yourself without poisoning what is still good. And when you do this, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself again. Not because everyone is safe, but because you are no longer helpless. You can observe, you can choose. You can speak, you can leave. You can stay. You can heal without becoming hard. Do not let the people who hurt you keep controlling how you treat the people who did not. That is how they remain in power. Do not give them that. Heal the wound. Clean the blade from your own hands. Stop cutting the present with what happened in the past. You deserve a life that is not constantly filtered through old pain. And the people who come after your pain deserve to meet the version of you that has learned, not the version still bleeding. Break time, bung 0.5s. Stay with this next part, because Chapter 7 deals with one of the most misunderstood emotions after pain: anger. If you do not lead it, it can destroy you. But if you train it, it can become one of the strongest standards of your life. Chapter 7. Turn anger into standards. Anger is not always the enemy. Sometimes anger is the part of you that finally realizes something was wrong. It is the heat that rises when you remember what you tolerated. It is the voice inside you saying, "Never again." It is the signal that a boundary was crossed, a value was ignored, a part of you was disrespected, or a truth was denied for too long. But anger is dangerous when it has no direction. Undirected anger becomes revenge. It becomes bitterness. It becomes words you cannot take back. It becomes decisions made to prove a point instead of protect your peace. It becomes the version of you that wants to hurt because you were hurt. And if you let pain turn you into the same energy that harmed you, then the wound has not become power. It has become imitation. That is not healing. That is possession. Break time, bung 0.5s. So the goal is not to pretend you are not angry. The goal is to lead the anger. Anger has energy. Use it. But do not let it use you. There is a difference between anger that destroys your life and anger that rebuilds your standards. Destructive anger says, "I want them to feel what I felt." Disciplined anger says, "I will never abandon myself like that again." Destructive anger says, "I need revenge." Disciplined anger says, "I need standards." Destructive anger says, "I will prove they were wrong." Disciplined anger says, "I will become someone I respect." That difference changes everything. Because the highest use of anger is not punishment, it is transformation. Think about the moment when you finally became tired of your own pattern. Tired of waiting, tired of chasing, tired of shrinking, tired of giving chances to people who kept spending them carelessly, tired of waking up with the same anxiety, tired of breaking promises to yourself while keeping promises to everyone else. Break time, bung 0.5s. That anger can become a turning point, but only if you turn it into a standard. A standard is anger refined into self-respect. It is not a mood. It is a rule you live by. It is not, "I am upset today." It is, "From now on, this is how I protect my life." So ask yourself, what is your anger trying to protect? Not what is it trying to attack. What is it trying to protect? Is it trying to protect your peace, your dignity, your time, your body, your future, your focus, your ability to love without losing yourself? Underneath anger, there is often something sacred that was not protected. Find that. Because once you know what anger is protecting, you can build a standard around it. If your anger is protecting your peace, the standard may be, "I do not stay in conversations that require me to abandon my calm to be heard." If your anger is protecting your time, the standard may be, "I do not give unlimited access to people who treat my presence as optional." Break time, bung 0.5s. If your anger is protecting your self-respect, the standard may be, "I do not negotiate my worth with someone committed to misunderstanding it." If your anger is protecting your future, the standard may be, "I do not destroy my discipline just because I am emotionally uncomfortable." This is how anger becomes useful. It becomes a line, a boundary, a rule, a commitment, a new way of living. Now, be careful. A standard is not a threat. It is not something you announce to control people. It is something you embody to control yourself. Weak standards are spoken loudly and betrayed quietly. Strong standards are spoken calmly and lived consistently. You do not need to tell everyone you changed. You need to stop betraying the change when the old temptation returns. That is the real test. Can you keep the standard when you miss them? Can you keep the standard when you are lonely? Can you keep the standard when they apologize with the same words, but no changed behavior? Break time, bung 0.5s. Can you keep the standard when your old comfort asks you to lower yourself again? Can you keep the standard on a Friday night when you are tired and the past suddenly feels familiar? Can you keep the standard when your phone lights up and your old self wants to answer before your wisdom can speak? This is where anger either becomes power or disappears into another cycle. So here is the exercise. Complete these sentences. From now on, I no longer. From now on, I choose. Keep them simple. From now on, I no longer chase people who make love feel uncertain. From now on, I choose peace over confusion. From now on, I no longer use pain as an excuse to destroy my routine. From now on, I choose discipline even when I feel emotionally heavy. From now on, I no longer explain my worth to people committed to undervaluing it. From now on, I choose rooms, relationships, and habits that respect who I am becoming. Break time bunk .5s. Now make it real. Not in your head, in behavior. A standard that does not change behavior is only a sentence. If your standard is peace, stop feeding conversations that steal it. If your standard is discipline, show up when your mood is low. If your standard is self-respect, leave situations where you are repeatedly treated as less than what you are. If your standard is healing, stop revisiting what keeps reopening the wound. If your standard is growth, stop giving your best hours to distractions that do not deserve your future. This is not about becoming harsh, it is about becoming clear. Clarity is not cruelty, boundaries are not hatred, discipline is not punishment, self-respect is not arrogance. You are allowed to decide what no longer belongs in your life. You are allowed to stop making yourself available to what keeps making you smaller. You are allowed to let anger teach you where your standards were missing. Break time bung 0.5s, but do not live angry. Live changed. That is the key. Anger should be a doorway, not a home. Walk through it. Do not build your identity there. Let it wake you. Let it sharpen you. Let it show you what must never be tolerated again. Then let discipline take over, because discipline can build what anger can only begin. Anger gives you fire. Discipline gives you direction. Anger says enough. Discipline says now build. That is how pain becomes power. Not when anger makes you loud, but when anger makes you loyal to the person you are becoming. So the next time anger rises, do not ask only who hurt me. Ask, what standard is this anger asking me to build? Then build it. Quietly, consistently, without apology. Anger becomes power when it turns into a standard you refuse to betray. And in the next chapter, we will take those standards and point them toward the future. Because surviving pain is not enough. You must build a life that makes the pain meaningful. Break time bung 0.5s. Chapter 8. Build a future that makes the pain meaningful. There is a kind of pain that feels meaningless when it happens. You look at what you lost and nothing about it feels useful. Nothing about it feels beautiful. Nothing about it feels like growth. It just feels unfair. And you do not need to force meaning too soon. Some pain needs silence before it can become wisdom. Some losses need space before they can become direction. Some wounds cannot be explained while you are still bleeding. So do not rush this chapter. This chapter is not about pretending everything happened for a reason. It is about deciding that what happened will not be wasted. There is a difference. You may not be able to control why something happened, but you can control what you build after it. Meaning is not always found. Sometimes meaning is built, brick by brick, choice by choice, boundary by boundary, habit by habit. A future that makes pain meaningful is not a perfect future. It is a future where the pain is no longer the center of your identity. It becomes part of your foundation. Not the whole house. Break time bung 0.5s. Think about a scar. A scar does not erase what happened. It does not pretend the cut never existed. But it shows that the body closed what was once open. Your life can become like that, not untouched, not unmarked, but closed where it was once bleeding, stronger where it was once exposed, wiser where it was once naive. The question is not, how do I make the pain disappear? The question is, what kind of life would make this pain no longer feel like the final word? That is a powerful question, because it moves you forward. It gives your suffering somewhere to go. Pain without direction becomes rumination. Pain with direction becomes fuel. So ask yourself, what would my stronger self thank this season for one day? Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day. Would your stronger self thank this season for teaching boundaries, break time bung 0.5s, for forcing honesty, for ending something you were too afraid to leave, for making you build discipline, for showing you who was truly there, for making you return to yourself? This is not about being grateful for being hurt. It is about becoming grateful that the pain did not get the final say. There is a version of you in the future who may look back at this season and say, "That was where I stopped begging. That was where I stopped shrinking. That was where I stopped confusing chaos with love. That was where I stopped living without structure. That was where I started choosing myself. That was where I began." But that future version does not appear by accident. You build them. You build them by deciding that the pain will become a foundation for something better, not a monument to what broke you. A foundation. So what would make this chapter worth surviving? A healthier body, a calmer mind, a stronger bank account, a new skill, a deeper relationship with yourself, a life with fewer lies, break time bung 0.5s, a home that feels peaceful, a routine that makes you trust yourself again, a future where you no longer need the people who once made you feel powerless to validate your worth. Choose something. Pain needs direction. Your mind needs a reason to stop circling the wound and start walking towards something. This is where many people stay stuck. They survive the pain, but they do not build after it. They wait for time to heal what only action can rebuild. They say, "One day I will feel better." But they do not give their future any evidence to believe in. Healing is not only what you feel. Healing is what you build while you are still becoming whole. So build something. Start small. Build a morning that does not begin with checking for someone who no longer chooses you. Build a body that carries you with strength. Break time bung 0.5s. Build a room that feels clean enough for your mind to breathe. Build a skill that makes your future less dependent on luck. Build a circle that does not require you to perform to be accepted. Build a relationship with yourself that does not collapse when someone else leaves. Build a financial plan that gives your nervous system room to breathe. Build a study habit that makes your future more powerful than your past. Build a night routine that stops your mind from returning to the same wound every evening. This is how meaning grows, not from one grand moment, from repeated proof that pain did not stop you. Destroyed, awakened, trained, redirected. That is the path. At first, pain destroys the illusion. Then it awakens the truth. Then it trains the parts of you that were weak. Then it redirects your life towards something more aligned. But you have to cooperate with the redirection. Break time bung 0.5s. You have to stop staring at the closed door long enough to see the road opening beside it. You have to stop building your identity around what ended and start building your life around what is beginning. So here is the exercise for this chapter. Write this sentence. The future that would make this pain meaningful is, then finish it honestly. Do not write what sounds impressive. Write what feels true. The future that would make this pain meaningful is one where I no longer abandon myself. The future that would make this pain meaningful is one where I use my gift instead of hiding it. The future that would make this pain meaningful is one where I stop repeating the same emotional pattern. The future that would make this pain meaningful is one where I become disciplined enough to trust myself. The future that would make this pain meaningful is one where I help someone else survive what nearly broke me. Now ask, what is one action I can take in the next 24 hours that belongs to that future? Not a perfect action, a real one. Send the application, clean the room, take the walk, block the number, write the page, start the workout, make the call, create the plan, tell the truth. Break time bung 0.5s. Choose one brick, lay it, because a meaningful future is not built by thinking about it. It is built by proving it, and every proof matters, especially the small ones. The small proof says, I am still here. The small proof says, I am not finished. The small proof says, pain changed me, but it will not own me. Do not just survive the pain. Build something that makes the survival sacred. Build a life that gives the wound a purpose beyond suffering. Build a future where your scars are not decorations of damage, but reminders of discipline. You are not required to call every loss a blessing. but you are responsible for not letting loss become your permanent address. Move, build, begin, and stay with the next chapter, because this is where transformation becomes visible. Not through words, through identity, through behavior, through becoming someone your old pain can no longer control. Break time bung 0.5s. Chapter 9. Become someone your pain cannot recognize. There comes a point in healing when you stop explaining your pain to yourself every day. Not because it never happened, not because it did not matter, but because you have changed so much that the wound no longer knows how to control you. That is a quiet victory. No applause, no announcement, no dramatic scene. Just one day, you notice that the thing that used to pull you apart no longer reaches the same place. The message does not shake you like it used to. The memory does not own the entire morning. The rejections does not become your identity. The silence does not make you chase. The anger does not make you destroy. The old pattern knocks, and for the first time you do not open the door. That is when you know you are becoming someone your pain cannot recognize. This chapter is about identity. Not the identity you talk about, the identity you prove. Because healing is not only feeling better, healing is living differently. Break time bung 0.5s. If you say you are healed but you still return to what breaks you, the wound is still leading. If you say you are stronger but one bad day makes you abandon every standard, strength is still only an idea. If you say you have moved on, but your decisions still revolve around proving something to the past, you are still connected to it. Real transformation shows up in behavior. You do not react the same way. You do not chase the same confusion. You do not explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not betray your routine because your emotions are loud. You do not lower your standards because loneliness visits. You do not confuse familiar pain with love. You do not turn every closed door into proof that you are worthless. That is how the new self appears. Not all at once, but through small, repeated refusals to return to who you were. Break time bung 0.5s. The old you may want to send the message. The new you breathes and chooses silence. The old you may want to beg for clarity. The new you sees inconsistency as clarity. The old you may want to quit because results are slow. The new you understands that slow progress is still progress. The old you may want to disappear when life gets hard. The new you shows up small, but shows up. This is not glamorous. It is better than glamorous. It is real. Becoming someone your pain cannot recognize means becoming grounded enough that the old triggers no longer produce the old behavior. That is the test. Not whether you still feel something. You may still feel. You may still remember. You may still have moments when the past knocks hard. But the question is, do you obey it? That is where your power lives. Break time bung 0.5s. A memory can rise without becoming a command. A feeling can pass through without becoming a decision. A person can return without being welcomed back into your peace. A wound can speak without being allowed to lead. This is maturity. This is self-respect. This is power without noise. Now ask yourself, what would my pain expect me to do? Would it expect me to chase? Would it expect me to collapse? Would it expect me to quit? Would it expect me to prove my worth? Would it expect me to lower my standards? Would it expect me to return to the habit that kept me small? Now ask, what would shock my pain? Maybe choosing peace, maybe staying silent, maybe walking away calmly, maybe keeping your routine, maybe telling the truth without begging to be understood, maybe building your future without asking the past for permission, maybe waking up and choosing the gym instead of the same old memory, maybe opening the notebook instead of reopening the wound, maybe choosing sleep instead of replaying the same conversation until 2 a.m. break time bung 0.5s matchy. That is how you become unrecognizable to the wound. You do the thing your old pain never expected you to be strong enough to do. You choose differently, again and again and again. Identity is built through evidence. Every time you choose the new response, you give your mind evidence. Every time you protect your peace, evidence. Every time you keep the promise, evidence. Every time you refuse the old pattern, evidence. Every time you act from standards instead of fear, evidence. And eventually your mind begins to believe, this is who I am now. Not because you said it, because you proved it. So here is the exercise for this chapter. Complete these 2 sentences. I am no longer the person who. I am becoming the person who. Be specific. I am no longer the person who begs for basic respect. I am becoming the person who recognizes respect by behavior, not words. I am no longer the person who abandons my routine when I am sad. I am becoming the person who keeps small promises even on hard days. Break time bung 5s. I am no longer the person who confuses anxiety with love. I am becoming the person who needs peace, clarity, and consistency. I am no longer the person who waits to be chosen. I am becoming the person who chooses my life with discipline. Now take one of those sentences and turn it into behavior today, not next month, today. If you are becoming someone disciplined, finish 1 task. If you are becoming someone peaceful, refuse 1 argument. If you are becoming someone self-respecting, keep 1 boundary. If you are becoming someone courageous, tell 1 truth. If you are becoming someone focused, protect 1 hour. Do not underestimate small proof. Small proof repeated becomes identity, and identity repeated becomes destiny. The past will test you. It always does. Old people may return. Old emotions may rise. Old habits may call your name. Old doubts may whisper, you have not really changed. Break time bung 0.5s. Do not argue with them. Show evidence. Let your life answer. Let your consistency answer. Let your standards answer. Let your silence answer. Let your peace answer. The most powerful transformation is not when everyone notices you changed. It is when the old version of you no longer recognizes how you respond. Become so grounded that the pain that once controlled you no longer knows how to reach you. Become so disciplined that your emotions can rise without destroying your direction. Become so clear that rejection cannot rename you. Become so self-respecting that the past can knock and still find the door closed. You are not trying to become someone who never hurt. You are becoming someone who cannot be governed by the hurt. That is different. That is stronger. That is freedom. And the final chapter matters deeply. Because once pain no longer controls you, it can begin to serve something greater. Your story can stop being only about what broke you. It can become wisdom for someone who is still trying to survive. Break time bung 0.5s. Chapter 10. Make your pain serve, a hurt bigger than you. At first, pain makes your world smaller. It pulls your attention inward. Your thoughts circle the wound. Your energy goes towards survival. Your questions become personal. Why me? Why now? Why them? Why this? And in the beginning, that is understandable. When something hurts deeply, you need space to feel it. You need time to understand it. You need silence to hear yourself again. But if pain stays only about you forever, it can become a cage. The highest transformation happens when your pain no longer only protects you. It prepares you to understand someone else. This does not mean you become responsible for saving everyone. It does not mean you become a healer before you have healed. It does not mean you turn your wound into a performance. It means that what once made you feel alone can eventually become the wisdom that helps you recognize loneliness in another person. You become softer in the right places, stronger in the right places, wiser in the right places. Pain can make people cold, but power makes people clear. There is a difference. Break time bung 0.5s. Cold says, I suffered, so I do not care. Clear says, I suffered, so I know what matters. Cold says, never trust. Clear says, trust slowly with standards. Cold says, everyone is the same. Clear says, I can observe without closing my heart. Cold says, my pain made me hard. Clear says, my pain made me honest. The goal is not to become untouchable. The goal is to become useful to your own life and steady enough not to be destroyed by the lives of others. When pain becomes wisdom, your presence changes. You listen differently. You notice what others hide. You stop judging every reaction because you understand that people often bleed in ways they cannot explain. You become more patient but not more permissive, more compassionate but not more naive, more understanding but not less boundaried. That balance is power. Because pain that has been processed becomes discernment. Pain that has not been processed becomes projection. Break time bung 0.5s. Processed pains, I understand this pattern. Unprocessed pain says everyone will hurt me. Processed pain says I can help without losing myself. Unprocessed pain says I must rescue people so I feel needed. Processed pain says I can speak from wisdom. Unprocessed pain says I need everyone to validate my wound. So before your pain can serve a purpose bigger than you, it must first stop controlling you. That is why the previous chapters mattered. You learn to ask what pain teaches. You learn to release the old identity. You learn to discipline emotional chaos. You learn to read rejection differently. You learn to train the weak place. You learned not to punish the present for the past. You learned to turn anger into standards. You learned to build a meaningful future. You learned to become someone your pain cannot recognize. Now your story can become more than survival. It can become strength. Not because you tell everyone everything. You do not owe the world your wounds, but because your life begins to carry evidence that pain did not win. Someone may look at your discipline and feel hope. Someone may hear your calm and feel safe. Someone may see your boundaries and learn they are allowed to have their own. Someone may watch you rebuild quietly and realize they are not finished either. Break time bung 0.5s. That is purpose. Not fame, not attention, not proving a point. Purpose is when your transformation becomes permission for someone else to believe change is possible. Think of the person you used to be at the beginning of the pain. Confused, tired, waiting, questioning your worth, trying to make sense of what happened. Now imagine someone else is standing there today. They may not say it out loud. They may still be smiling. They may still be going to work. They may still be answering messages. But inside they are carrying something heavy. And one day, your steadiness may become the sentence they needed. Your example may become the proof. Your patience may become the shelter. Your honesty may become the mirror. This is why you must not waste your pain. Because the lesson is not only for you. The strength is not only for you. The wisdom is not only for you. Break time bung 0.5s. But be careful. Do not rush to teach what you have not lived. Do not turn pain into advice too quickly. Do not speak from the wound and call it wisdom. Let life prove the lesson in you first. Let your behavior mature. Let your standards become stable. Let your peace become real. Then when you speak, you will not speak to impress. You will speak with weight. There is a kind of authority that only comes from surviving something honestly, not dramatically, honestly. You do not need to exaggerate your pain. You do not need to make your story sound worse so people respect it. You do not need to become a victim to be understood. You simply need to live the lesson. That is enough. So here is the exercise for this final chapter. Ask yourself, what did my pain teach me that someone else may need one day? Break time bung 0.5s. Maybe it taught you that silence is sometimes protection. Maybe it taught you that love without self-respect becomes self-abandonment. Maybe it taught you that rejection is not the end of identity. Maybe it taught you that discipline can save you when motivation disappears. Maybe it taught you that healing is not forgetting, but choosing differently. Maybe it taught you that peace is not found by controlling others, but by leading yourself. Now complete this sentence. One lesson my pain gave me is, say it simply, no performance, no dramatic language, just truth. One lesson my pain gave me is that I must never abandon myself to be accepted. One lesson my pain gave me is that emotional pain must be felt, but not obeyed. One lesson my pain gave me is that my future needs my discipline more than my past needs my attention. One lesson my pain gave me is that I can be hurt and still choose who I become. Break time bung 0.5s. That sentence is power. And if you feel moved to share it, write it somewhere. In a journal, in a note, in a comment, in a conversation with someone who needs it. But share it with humility. The goal is not to sound wise, the goal is to be useful. Because the pain that once made you feel alone can become the wisdom that helps someone else survive. That is one of the highest forms of transformation. You do not only rise from the fire, you become light for someone still walking through smoke. You do not only heal the wound, you become proof that wounds can close. You do not only take your power back, you become a reminder that power can be rebuilt. So do not despise your story. Do not worship it either. Use it. Let it make you grounded. Let it make you discerning. Let it make you compassionate. Let it make you strong enough to hold your own life, and wise enough not to look down on someone still learning to hold theirs. Break time bung 05s. This is how pain becomes purpose. Not when you understand every reason, but when you become someone who can create meaning from what once felt meaningless. And now, as we close this journey, remember this. Your pain was not the whole story. It was a chapter, a fire, a mirror, a teacher, a training ground. But you are the one who decides what it becomes next. Pain was the fire, but you are the one who chose to rise. You have walked through 10 chapters, not just about pain, about power. Not the loud kind, not the kind that needs to prove itself, but the kind that begins quietly inside a person who decides, this will not be the end of me. You learned that pain is not only something to survive, it can become information. It can teach you what you need to stop tolerating. It can reveal what you need to protect. It can show you who you are being asked to become. Break time, bung 0.5s. You learned that sometimes pain exposes an old version of you. A version that begged, a version that chased, a version that stayed too long, a version that kept calling fear patience, attachment love, and self-abandonment loyalty. And you learned that you do not have to hate that old version. You can thank it for carrying you this far. Then stop letting it lead. You learned that emotions are real, but they are not always wise. They are signals, not commands. You can pause, name, separate, choose. You can feel deeply without letting every feeling drive your life. You learned that rejection is not always proof that you are worthless. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is a sign pointing you back to yourself. You learned that the place where you once felt weak is not a place to hide forever. It is a training ground. Pain exposed the weakness. Discipline builds the strength. Break time bung 0.5s. You learned not to bleed on people who did not cut you. Not everyone is the past. Not every silence is abandonment. Not every mistake is betrayal. Healing means learning to see clearly again. You learned that anger does not have to become destruction. It can become a standard, a line, a rule, a new loyalty to yourself. You learned that meaning is not always found. Sometimes it is built, brick by brick, habit by habit, boundary by boundary, choice by choice. You learn that identity changes when behavior changes. You become someone your pain cannot recognize when the old trigger no longer produces the old reaction. And finally, you learn that your pain can serve a purpose bigger than you. Not because you perform your wound, but because you live the lesson. Because your calm can become proof, your discipline can become proof, your boundaries can become proof. Your life can become proof that pain did not win. Break time bung 0.5s. So now, take this with you. Pain becomes awareness. Awareness becomes discipline. Discipline becomes standards. Standards become identity. Identity becomes power. That is the path. Not easy, not instant, but real. And for the next 72 hours, give yourself a simple challenge. Day 1. Write down the pain you are still carrying. Then write what it has been trying to teach you. Not what it took, what it taught. Day 2. Choose one standard you will no longer betray. 1, not 10. One standard. Protect it for 1 full day. Day 3. Take one action that proves you are no longer the old version of yourself. Small is enough. Send the email, take the walk, clean the room, keep the boundary. Finish the task. Break time bung 0.5s. Do not return to the confusion. Do not wait for a perfect mood. Prove the new identity in one small action. That is how you begin. And if this audiobook spoke to something real in you, do not let it end as only something you heard. Let it become something you practice. Because the world does not change when you understand a truth. Your life changes when you live it. If this pain has been living inside you for years, let this be the moment you stop calling it your identity. You are not the wound. You are the one who survived it, studied it, trained through it, built from it, and chose to rise beyond it. So when pain returns, and it may, remember, you do not have to become bitter. You do not have to become cold. You do not have to become the wound. You can become the person who studies it, trains through it, builds from it, rises beyond it. Break time bung 0.5s. Pain was the fire, but you are not the ashes. You are the one who learned how to rise. Break time bung 0.5s.